Hello and welcome to Tome of Uselessness. I'm Devin.
I'm Dan.
And today we're talking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the new Quentin Tarantino extravaganza. But first, things we like. Dan, what did you like this week?
Like I said, it's been a while, but just continuing on, I've been reading the Expanse books, and I'm into book 8 now at this point. It's pretty good, and like I said, still going in different directions than I would expect. In the show, I've kind of lagged behind a bit just because of other watching, but almost finished season 2.
Nice.
As well as I did see Spider-Man Far From Home, like you spoke of last episode.
Cool.
And I did enjoy it. It was cool.
I also liked it.
Yeah, tied a lot of Marvel elements together and brought some neat stuff. I was curious the whole time, essentially, because I know some Spider-Man lore, that it was just like, what's the angle? Mm-hmm. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, me too. Cool. I've been very busy, so I haven't really been watching things. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts. Mm-hmm. So I recently binged all 3 seasons of Serial, which I recommend.
Yeah.
It's not about serial killers. It's one story that goes like the length of a season.
Right.
Yeah. The 3rd season was really interesting because they went to a courthouse and they were just like talking to different people and like how they were getting tried and the judges and stuff. It was really, if you're interested at all in like the American legal system, it's kind of interesting. What else? I listened to S-Town, same people that did Serial. Been listening to This American Life. They're all good. They're all top quality podcasts. You can't hear traffic in the background. What? And then I've been working on my garden. So if I'm reading anything, it's about gardening right now.
Nice.
Which people don't care about. But my garden's really pretty. It's going to be so nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So let's get on to
the movie?
Sorry.
Yeah, we did see
so hot right now.
Yeah. We did see it actually opening day, but we haven't recorded about it just because there was a technical issue.
My computer died.
Well, I didn't want to get into it, but
it did.
Yeah, and so we're recording a couple weeks after it has been out. It's top quality stuff, like Devin said. Mm-hmm. Quentin Tarantino, writer-director, and it's got this big cast. Got all the people in front of me here as we want to go through it, but just initial impressions, what do you think?
Oh, it was great. I loved it.
Yeah.
I was happy in it. I don't know.
Yeah.
What more do you want? What do you want from me, Dad?
What is your initial impressions? I also really enjoyed it, and for a movie that's 2 hours and 40 minutes long, it didn't feel bad. Like it. Yeah, the pacing was superb in a way that was really weird. Yeah. Because even when you were watching it, not much is going on the screen, you're still enjoying it.
Without spoiling anything.
Yeah.
Basically, the summary, like if you were summarizing the story...
I'll say summary's next.
But if you were summarizing the story, you'd be summarizing the last 30 minutes.
Sure. Kinda.
And then the rest of it is build up to that and backstory. So that you care about the characters when stuff happens.
Yeah.
But all the action and all the core story, because you couldn't describe it as Leonardo DiCaprio having a hard time. That would be an inaccurate description of the movie, right?
Sure. But it's a facet of it.
But it's a big part of it.
Yeah.
But it's weird because it's interesting that it's that way, but it doesn't feel like you're slogging through it up to that point or anything.
Right. Yeah, it was masterfully crafted almost in a way that Tarantino of course makes great movies. For the most part, I think most people agree with that.
Yeah.
And it's just but this one was just so masterfully done in a different way compared to some other projects and stuff like that. So, which we can get to. But as we mentioned, Leonardo DiCaprio plays Rick Dalton, and his friend and stuntman Cliff Booth, played by Brad Pitt.
And those are fictional characters.
Yeah. Okay.
I double checked.
Yeah, I assumed.
They made them so real that you had to Google it, right?
And then of course Margot Robbie plays Sharon Tate, who was real.
A real person who was murdered by the Manson family.
Yeah. I mean there's Leo, top of his game. Yeah. And he was the top of the game in this movie. There was no...
Oh, yeah.
The whole performance was great.
Same with Brad Pitt. Both of them were, amazing in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to get to him, but yes.
Oh, okay, fine.
No, that's all right.
Brad Pitt sucked.
No. So, and we spoke a bit about this, like he was meant to be kind of like almost channeling like an old, it's almost like a Robert Redford, but then not, like who's he trying to be?
He looks so much like Robert Redford.
Yeah,
hey?
Exactly. And I actually just really liked, I guess we'll get into some spoiler stuff now, potentially, whenever it'll just happen.
Let's summarize the story quick.
Oh, okay, sure, sorry.
So, Rick Dalton
Yes.
and is an actor.
Yeah.
Who had a
An aging actor.
An aging actor who had a successful TV show.
In the 50s.
In the 50s, but now in the 60s, he's just hired on as the heavy.
Yeah, usually the heavy.
In pilots for TV shows where he plays kind of the bad guy that, you know, the new young buck gets to beat up.
Yeah.
And he's kind of having a bit of a crisis about it. Brad Pitt's his stuntman, well, was his stuntman, but now is kind of his friend / gopher.
Yeah, it almost seems it's depicted that he tries to get him work when he can, but it doesn't usually work out.
But he wants him in his life, basically, so he makes that happen.
Yeah.
And then, like, he's trying, people are trying to get him into doing spaghetti westerns, but he's not into it because he feels like that would be the end of his career. Anyways, he lives in this beautiful Hollywood home, which is next door to where Sharon lives.
Yeah.
Sharon Tate lives.
And Roman Polanski.
And Roman Polanski.
Yeah.
And this other guy. Like Jay something.
Yeah, he's Jay Sebring.
Yeah. So if you are unfamiliar with Sharon Tate and the Manson family, the Mansons killed Sharon Tate when she was 8 months pregnant. It was like 2 weeks before she was supposed to give birth.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yes.
So it basically happens around that time period. And when the Manson family comes to murder her, things go terribly wrong, and Quentin Tarantino rewrites history again.
Yes.
So that's your summary without spoilers. I win.
Fair enough.
Touchdown.
But yeah, it's pretty accurate indeed, and I just thought it was a funny point in the beginning because I'm fairly certain Brad Pitt's taller than Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, for sure.
And when they're doing that little interview with him in the beginning, talking about the show, what the heck was it, Bounty Law?
Yeah.
And it's got him, but like Brad Pitt's like forced perspective style, like he's seated farther back.
Yeah.
Which I just thought was a hilarious kind of touch, like just right off the bat, just to be like, he's way back there, and the guy's like, if you're seeing double, it's because it's his stuntman. Yeah, I just thought that was an hilarious opening. And just like Devin said, when he has to meet Al Pacino, who plays Mr. Schwartz, and he's pitching him doing these spaghetti westerns. I love the line, of course, that no one likes spaghetti westerns.
Yeah.
Because as we all know, Clint Eastwood, of course, has made a few good ones. And I assume, though, that there's, like any genre...
The Good, the Bad, the Ugly is a spaghetti western, isn't it? Yeah.
All three of those are.
Yeah.
So,
wait, there's three?
Yeah, there's The Good, Bad, the Ugly, Fistful of Dollars, and A Few Dollars More. And it's like a trilogy of them.
I didn't know those movies were related. Well, I thought Fistful and Few
Dollars More. It's just that he plays the same character. The Man with No Name is the idea, but like the ones that Kurosawa remake.
The Gunslinger?
Yeah.
From the Tower?
Yes.
The Dark Tower.
The Dark Tower. But I just thought that was funny. But like every genre, of course, there's a bunch of terrible stuff that just doesn't rise to the top. So,
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, like, I thought one thing that was really interesting about the movie is that there's a lot of scenes of driving.
Well, yeah, because he reconstructed old Hollywood.
Yes.
So
and not CG, essentially.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
There was lots of scenes of driving, and you could see all these old landmarks and hear, like, the radio ads of the time.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
some of the tunes. And it really did work in the movie compared to other movies where you're like, this is so annoying. Like, what is that with this? But
do you know what I thought was great? Was there's a scene where Brad Pitt is driving from Leo's expensive house in the Hollywood Hills to his trailer.
Yeah.
And the way they shot it, like, it's a long scene. It's like 5 minutes long.
It's pretty long, yeah.
But the way they shot it is that you would get, like, him driving with a song.
Yeah.
And you'd see stuff passing, and then it'd be, like, a different song and a different scene.
Like a different part of a highway.
Yeah, it would just cut, right?
Yeah.
And it was progressively getting darker.
Yeah.
And I think it was, like, one of my favorite scenes in the movie because it it conveyed how far away he lived and how far away their lives were.
Absolutely, yeah.
So well in like such a succinct way.
Yeah. Before he even like gets to the trailer, he's like beyond everything, and you're like, man, where does this guy live? Like,
yeah, and it's like, and it's a bit like in other movies, that would be dialogue being like, oh, I have to drive 45 minutes home. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Whereas in this movie, he just like shows you, and he shows you in such a engaging way, even though you're just watching Brad Pitt driving.
Yeah.
That's why Quentin Tarantino is good, and everybody else sucks.
No, absolutely, and it just brings back to my other point, or like what I was saying, is that the driving scenes. When I was watching the movie, I was just like, man, there's so many scenes of people just driving everywhere. But I wasn't bothered by it. I didn't feel like it slowed things down, or it kind of let you process. This is coming from like
a person who hates car chases. Yeah. I usually hate cars in movies. Yeah.
And an interesting note, of course, Leo's car in that movie, that's actually Michael Madsen's actual car.
Oh, no way.
You got to borrow it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He drove it in another movie as well. I think it's in Reservoir Dogs as well.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but it's
I can see him driving
car.
That.
Yeah. And then, so we get the intro in one of the driving scenes to the hippies of the movie, and I got some names here. So you got Maya Hawke, who plays Firework Child, Ethan Hawke, and why is her name escaping me? Uma Thurman's daughter. That's it.
Oh.
Sorry. Yeah, that's their daughter.
Wait, is that the one that was like hitting on Brad Pitt?
No, that's the next one.
Oh, okay.
Pussycat, which is Margaret Qualley.
Okay. Wait, Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman are they still married?
I don't know. At one point, they definitely were. So.
Oh, I forgot that.
Yeah.
Did they meet on the set of Gattaca?
Oh, I don't know.
By the way, we have an episode about Gattaca if you like sci-fi or hard sci-fi from the early 90s. Yeah. No, late 90s. 97.
Sure, in the 90s.
Yeah.
Pre-Matrix.
Pre-Matrix sci-fi.
Yeah, pre-Matrix sci-fi. Then you got Sydney Sweeney, who plays Snake. Austin Butler plays Tex.
He was really good.
Yeah, he was pretty good. He was pretty funny. There's a few scenes where he's like trying to be all hardcore, but he's like a hippie guy, whatever. Dakota Fanning was Squeaky Fromme, who did not look like Dakota Fanning to me at all. I was like,
I thought in her face.
Yeah, I think thinking back on it after you mentioned, you're like, oh, that was Dakota Fanning, blah blah. And I was like, oh, I can kind of see it. But at the time, I think it was also because it was shot and she's all sweaty and it's gross.
She weirdly looks very similar to how she does in the second Twilight movie or third Twilight movie.
Dakota Fanning was in Twilight?
Yeah.
Oh,
she was one of the vampires.
Oh, was she?
Yeah. She was supposed to be the main one or something. Maybe.
Oh, really?
You know who else was in Twilight?
Like everyone?
Michael Sheen.
Yes, I did know that Michael Sheen was in Twilight.
Aziraphale.
Yeah, but Michael Sheen's pretty talented, so.
Oh, yeah, I like him a lot. He's so good.
You gotta do some work. 8-movie picture deal, whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on, we got Harley Quinn Smith, who is, of course, Kevin Smith's daughter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was Froggy. She's the one I think that runs away. Or that was Maya Hawke. One of the two, anyway.
No, I think Maya Hawke did.
Right.
Because I remember hearing that. Honest, can I go back to Michael Sheen for a second?
Okay, sure.
Did you know that he's just, like, been with, like, tons of hot actresses?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he has a daughter with the girl from Underworld.
Not Kate Beckinsale.
Yes,
oh, really?
Kate Beckinsale. And he dated Sarah Silverman for a long time.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. Like, he doesn't... Like, when you think about Evan Goodman, you're like, that's not a guy who gets a lot of ladies.
Yeah, but I think he kind of pudged up a bit in that role. Because in other roles, he's definitely been, like, skinnier. And, like, he was in Underworld, wasn't he? Yeah, he was in the first one.
Was he?
Yeah, he was the first one. He was the werewolf guy.
Was he really?
I'm pretty sure, that's Michael Sheen. Yeah.
Well, excuse me, but I gotta go rewatch all the Underworld.
No, he's only in the first one because he dies.
Just kidding, I have to just watch the first.
Yeah, he dies after the first one.
The last one that came out was so bad.
Yeah, I only saw the first two, and I did watch the prequel one, and I think I haven't seen any of the others.
I don't know if I watched 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But it was so bad.
Yeah, you're speaking about it previously.
It was such a weird bad. There was like snow elves. That, I don't know. Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, and then the last one, part of the hippie crew essentially was Damon Harriman played Charles Manson.
Yeah.
Who was in the movie for 2 scenes, essentially.
Yeah, for 1.3 minutes.
Yeah.
But you know what I did like? And I noticed, I don't know if you noticed, but they definitely put some all black contacts in his eyes.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why it just, he's like, oh, he's evil right away.
Well, yeah, it just gives it an unsettling look, right?
Well, he was evil, or is evil.
Yes.
Is he still alive? No, he died.
Yes. Well,
Didn't he die of a heart attack recently?
oh, I don't know. I know he tried to get parole again, and they were like, nope, denied.
Fair. I know he got married a few years ago. Yeah.
I don't recall. But yeah, so that we see some of the hippies, dumpster diving. They kind of pass Brad Pitt and Leo in the car, and then he passes them again. The one that we were speaking of previously, Pussycat.
Yeah.
And eventually he gives her a ride to...
and she tries to suck his dick.
Yeah, I guess that's me skipping ahead in the movie here.
He very responsibly wants to see ID.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, please don't put this in. It's gonna turn me off this movie so quickly if there's like an underage sex scene.
Right.
Like I don't mean to be a prude, but I don't want to see it. Like the older I get, the more it bothers me.
Fair enough.
So I'm like really happy that he tried to see ID and that she didn't have any, and so he didn't let her. And that I don't know. It's a +1 for the movie.
I was about to say, that was skipping ahead a bit in the movie, but so. Like Devin spoke about, we get a great scene with Booth going to his house.
What?
Booth driving to his trailer. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then just after he drops off Leo, and Leo mixes some drinks, and he's like going to work on some lines or whatever, and then he goes and he's feeding his dog and eating mac and cheese.
Yeah. And Leo's like sitting in his pool practicing his lines.
Right. Like you said, there was just that dichotomy there between their two lives.
For sure.
Then.
I think it's more functional to kind of talk about what Brad Pitt's doing and what Leo's doing separately, or...
Well, yeah, that's what I was kind of getting to here.
Okay, cool.
Because, it was just kind of there's some initial kind of here's our characters, here's some daily life snapshots, but then it's now we get into some meat of the story, as it were, where we get Dalton on the set of the Western that he's playing the current heavy in, where he was rehearsing the lines for.
Oh, okay. We're not going to finish Brad Pitt's story?
Brad Pitt was after that.
I just said maybe we should focus on one character and then the next character. And you said yes, and then you did the opposite.
No, now we're focusing on Leo, and then we can focus on Brad Pitt.
Well, I hope that our listeners have heard this, because I'm already confused and I've seen the movie. But whatever, fine, okay.
Well, you want to focus on Brad Pitt first, then?
Yes, I think that's...
I just don't think it works chronologically, but that's okay.
That's okay, it's a Quentin Tarantino movie.
There was some flashbacks within a flashback.
Yes. Okay, so Brad Pitt has Pussycat in his car. He drives her to the ranch.
Well, even before that, though, when he was doing some work at Dalton's house.
Oh my gosh, we're jumping so all over the place.
No, well,
Dad, I don't know what's going on.
This was a great scene because he meets Bruce Lee.
Yeah, okay.
And it was him. Here's what my question was he imagining these events, or did those events happen on the set of Green Hornet? Because they mentioned several times about how he did do some work on Green Hornet and some things went weird. And so there's a scene where he fights Bruce Lee.
Okay, so before Brad Pitt meets the hippie, this happens.
Yeah.
So we're going back.
Well, Brad Pitt fights Bruce Lee, who's played by a guy named Mike Moe.
Yeah, that was a great scene.
Yeah, because he's giving this big speech and about how martial arts and everything, and then we get a flashback within that about Brad Pitt, and he's a war hero, potentially killed his wife, which was weird. Yeah,
they never really let you know if he killed his wife or not.
Yes, it's just like a Hollywood rumor.
Yeah.
About this man, essentially. Yeah. And then he kind of is he's trying to play it cool, but then he's just like, you're not actually a fighter, and then. And they duke it out a little bit. It was great.
I was wondering if they were implying that to show that he was capable of what he does later in the movie.
That's what I assumed it was all for. Yeah, it was
like they were. Yeah, that it was something he was capable of doing.
Yeah, that he was not just like, I'm a stuntman that can take falls. It was like, no, he can fight.
I meant if they were implying that he killed his wife without showing us that he killed his wife to show that he's capable of murder.
Right.
That's what I was wondering.
Well, and then Leo says that he talks about he was a war hero.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, he fought in World War II, I would assume. So it was like. He's seen some action, right?
Yeah.
But okay.
It was a great scene with Bruce Lee, though.
Yes, it was.
I agree.
Yeah.
Actually, I was really happy that they threw him in the movie as often as they possibly could, even if it was just a random flashback scene that happens. That is totally not necessary to the movie.
It was pretty weird.
I appreciated it because they found a very good Bruce Lee double.
Yeah, he looked really well.
And he moved
spoke like him.
Spoke like him,
with his cadence. Yeah.
It's very good.
But anyway, you wanted to get to Shadow Ranch.
Okay, is that where we're going now?
That was with Pussycat in the car.
Okay, so he had Pussycat in the car.
Yeah.
He's driving her home to Shadow Ranch.
Yeah.
He gets there. This was probably the most tense I've ever felt in a movie.
There was some good tension in this scene.
Yeah.
This was like the classic, oh man, what is going to happen?
So the ranch is an old set from Bounty Law.
Yeah, they used to shoot there.
The part of the set's still there.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt knows the owner of the ranch, and and so there's a bunch of hippies just standing around, and
it's kind of taken over by hippies.
Yeah. So he knows where the guy lives, and he's like, that's his house. Can I go say hi to him? And they say no, he's having a nap.
Yeah.
And they're very cagey and weird about it.
Very.
So he goes up to the house anyways, and that's where we meet Squeaky, which is Dakota Fanning.
Yeah.
And she, again, there's so much menace and
just
weirdness going on, and the house has moldy food, and there's a rat in a trap that's stuck, and
it's all dingy.
Yeah.
And they're just watching TV.
And they're just watching. She's just in this gross armchair watching TV.
Yeah.
And they zero in on this rat in the trap, and I'm like, holy shit, it's a trap. They're telling us.
Yeah.
They're visually storytelling. Mm-hmm. And then the dude's room is at the end of this long, dark hallway.
Dingy hallway, yeah.
And Brad Pitt's moving towards it super slowly and cautiously. Mm-hmm. And then you go there, and it's just this lump of man on a bed. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, it's a corpse. It's a corpse. It's a rotting corpse. And then so Brad Pitt's going, in the background, you can see a fucking axe or a sledgehammer or something like that. And he goes over, and I'm like, he's gonna roll it over, and it's gonna be a corpse, and they're gonna axe him in the back of the head.
Sure.
But it's just a dude sleeping.
Yeah.
And it's just and they have a conversation, and then Brad Pitt leaves unscathed.
Well, he leaves unscathed, but he scathes some people on the way out.
Yeah, well, at least he leaves the house unscathed. Yeah. And it was just, there was so much tension, and there was so much relief when the guy was just leave me alone, I'm a cranky old man who wants to have a nap.
Yeah, I'm blind now.
I'm blind, I want to watch a show with Squeaky later.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so weird.
It was really well executed. Cause as the whole time, like Dylan's saying, it's just that tension is just amping and up, and you're just because he's talking with Squeaky, and she's like, well, I don't want to let you in, and he's like, screen door lady, I'm coming in, or and you're totally. Just like, oh my god, she's gonna have to go ham on these kids.
I was like, oh no, I was like, oh, he's gonna I just totally thought he's gonna turn over that body,
and then just clank,
rotting corpse, and he's gonna get a sledgehammer in the back of the head and die.
Yeah, just classic.
Yeah.
But no,
he was fine.
Yeah.
So then he's going to leave, and his car has...
Well, it's Dalton's car that he's driving.
Dalton's car, yeah, right. So not even his car. His boss's car has a knife in one of the tires.
Yeah.
And one of the stupid dirty hippies...
is like, ha 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 ha.
Not Tex.
Not Tex, because he's giving a tour. Maybe.
Yeah, he's giving a horse tour.
Yeah.
Or ranch tour or whatever. And then he's like... and he's like, change the tire. And he's like, nope. So Brad Pitt beats the shit out of him.
He does.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because it was to this point in the movie, anything violent was just movie type violence, because we get some shots of Rick Dalton shooting some people in movies.
Yeah.
It's all movie violence. In this one, it's visceral movie violence, right? It's the Tarantino violence, but it's not crazy, but it was just dude got punched in the face, and it's just oh, there's blood everywhere, his teeth are kind of knocked out a little bit.
It's not Kill Bill violence where it's just she's fighting the crazy 88 and there's blood going
there's anime blood everywhere.
Yeah. Which is great, and I love
this
it.
This was just pretty visceral stuff, but it was also it was really short and not like glorified. It was just kind of like he's just punching him. And you're like, he's like, hey, fix my tire, and he's like, no, and he's just like, blam again,
punching him.
Yeah, and he just punch. And then some of the other hippies, and he's just like, hey, you get any closer, I'm gonna knock all his teeth out. And they're like, okay, crap. Like,
yeah.
you know, forces
they
the guy.
send off one of the girls to go get Tex on the horse.
Yeah.
And then that's a little bit of tension too.
Absolutely, because you're like, oh man, he's gonna come back. What's gonna happen?
He's gonna get but then he arrives just as Brad Pitt is driving away.
Yeah, pulling away. So yeah, it was a really good scene, really tense the entire time.
That it wasn't my favorite scene in the movie. Mm-hmm. Not that it was bad, it just wasn't my favorite. But man, I was ready to I don't know, jump in there and help.
You're definitely expecting something to escalate again, just because of that tension that he's building. Which, well done, Tarantino.
Very well done.
Yeah.
So that's kind of most of his story. Should we switch over to Leo now?
Until they kind of meet back up again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Leo on set of the Western that he's in. Did I get the title down? No. It was like Lightning something. I can't remember exactly what it was.
It's not Bounty Law.
It's not Bounty Law. Yeah. And he's playing the heavy.
Yeah.
And I thought it was an interesting scene where he's getting the wardrobe and the director's like, oh, we're going to put you all of this stuff. And he's like, well, how are they going to know it's me? And he's like, no, I want them to not know it's you. I want you to act, kind of thing.
Yeah. Right? That was a great scene.
Yeah, it was just hilarious.
He's you can kind of see the dread on his face.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to act.
Yeah. He can't just be like Rick Dalton. Right?
Yeah. And they want to make him look like a hippie, which is hilarious.
Yeah, very hilarious.
They put a big mustache on him and they give him fringe on his jacket. Yeah.
That's pretty good. And then he meets a little girl reading a book.
That was such a good little scene.
Yeah, her Trudy was played by Julia Butters.
She was quite good.
Very.
Yeah. It's a cute little scene because she's reading a book and she's very pretentious.
Yeah.
And an actor.
Yeah, she's all like, oh, it's the role of the actor to be away and deliver the lines in such a method and all this stuff. And he's just like, alright.
And he's reading this book about a cowboy, basically, who's past his prime.
Yes.
And he starts crying when
because he realizes he's talking about himself, essentially. Yeah. Right?
So he starts crying when he tells her about it, and then she has to comfort him.
One of my favorite lines, and it was really fast, is when she's like, oh, blah, blah, oh, don't worry about that. And he's like, oh, you'll be living it in 5 to 10 years or something. And I was like, it was so harsh and really quick because I don't think a lot of people caught it.
No, I caught it.
And it wasn't laugh out loud, but I was I definitely chuckled and I was just like, oh man. Because I think she was depicted, she was 8?
8, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, basically, right? But yeah, he's just reading this book about, he's past his prime and all this stuff, and she's talking about method acting and all those things, and he's just like, cowboy guy from a show, right?
Yeah.
So he's never done serious acting, I guess, in a sense, right?
So then we get a scene of him doing a scene.
Yeah. I love the meta of this sequence, essentially.
And you're it goes on for a long time to the point where you're kind of invested in the story that they're shooting. Yeah,
it's actually kind of interesting. You're like, okay.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden he goes, line.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Wait, I'm not watching a Western? What's going on?
And it was just even just the camera movement that he's like, look, can we go back a little bit? And they're like, I'm going to reset the camera and then the camera moves back in a different position. And then he re-executes his line, right?
Pardon me.
And because that happens in the next shot as well, or the next scene of it, but it's just it was such an interesting meta reminder that you're watching him shoot this movie, and then you get reminded about how he's shooting a movie because then the director's giving direction off stage, off camera, and it was just this weird kind of thing, but it works super well.
It totally does. And then he gets upset with himself for messing up.
For filming the line.
The best little tantrum in his trailer. Where he's talking about giving up drinking and then he takes a drink immediately.
Well, then he's all just like, couldn't have stopped at 3 or 4 whiskey sours, gonna have 8? Because he's yelling at himself in a mirror. And then he's all like, I'll blow your brains out if you don't straighten it up. And he's just freaking out, and then you hear off camera like, 5 minutes, Mr. Dalton, and he's just like, okay, sit back down or whatever, have a cigarette.
And then we get the next scene and he does really well.
He does super well. Of course, it's Leo acting like not a good actor, but acting well.
Yeah. And there is my laugh out
Your
loud.
favorite line.
Where nobody else laughed, but I laughed.
I chuckled.
Okay. What was the line?
Okay, well, Luke Perry, who, rest in peace, this was the last movie, he comes because the plot of the little movie is that he kidnaps this little girl.
Yeah.
Dalton, that is. And then, so Luke Perry comes and he's like, I need, what do you want, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I want $50,000. And the guy's like, that's a lot of money. And he's like, that's a lot of little girl.
He goes, that's a whole lot of money. And he goes, it's a whole lot of little girl.
Yeah. In like this super angry, like, villainous.
I don't know why I find that so funny.
Well, she's very tiny.
Yeah, no, it's just funny, right?
Yeah. And then, throughout that scene, of course, he's like acting amazingly and what have you. And he does like some improv and this and that. And then the director, after like the shot kind of ends or is ending, and he's like, yes, stay there. He's like, sexy villain Hamlet or whatever, right? And then, the shot ends and the little girl, he's like, oh, did I hurt you? Because he throws the little girl down. She's like, no, I was wearing pads. She's like, that was great.
Yeah, she's all like happy with it.
And she's like, oh, that was the best acting I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the director's like, he's like, do we have to do another? He's like, no, it was done, one and done. And then Leo kind of, he starts to cry. Essentially, because he's like, he's doing it. He's doing it.
He's doing it.
He's acting.
Yeah. So that's kind of his day. That's going on while Brad Pitt is going to the ranch and stuff, right?
Yeah, that was the same day.
So then we kind of jump ahead.
Well, not right away. He picks him up. And he's just like, oh, yeah, and then they're just, again, some more driving, and they get to...
Oh, they're going to watch his FBI episode,
they're going to watch, his appearance in FBI, which throughout the movie, everyone's been talking about how this FBI show is going to be on that night.
Yeah.
And then, they chill down, watch this FBI episode. I loved it because the name of the episodes was like, oh, the streets are silent. And then you hear Brad Pitt off camera, he's like, yeah, now when Rick Dalton's got a shotgun. He's playing the bad guy. I just thought that was a great... It shows
bonding.
It shows their friendship. Yeah, they're friends. Despite the fact that they're working relationship, but they're chilling out together.
Yeah, like... before Leo's essentially invites him over and he's like, I was planning on it. We're gonna order some pizza, have some beers. I got the beer in the car. Yeah, this is cute.
Yeah, it was really great.
Yeah.
And then we do get, like Devin was saying, there's a flash forward essentially.
Yeah. So then, we should also mention that he bought an acid-laced cigarette.
Yes.
Or dipped cigarette, and he stores it at Leo's house.
At Leo's house. I was also going to mention, because I'm a big fan of the movie The Great Escape, there's a scene with Timothy Oliphant where he's the good guy of the show that Leo's shooting, and he's talking about other roles, and he's like, oh, I heard you were up for The Great Escape, and then they like CGI Leo into the movie of The Great Escape, playing Steve McQueen's character. It was weird, but I also kind of liked it because I really like The Great Escape.
They didn't quite explain it, but was he in it and fucked it up and then they fired him?
I'm thinking that it was more like that was either like screen test or his imaginings of him being in the role.
Okay.
Because it never sounded like he messed it up. Because they were just saying that like he was like, oh, I was on the list of names, but McQueen did the movie or whatever. Because
when I watched it, my thoughts were he got fired, and so he was saying that he was on the list, but Steve McQueen got.
I see what you're saying. Maybe he wasn't good enough because
he
did sound odd in the
oh, for sure.
But he just wasn't maybe cool Steve McQueen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So nobody's as cool as Steve McQueen.
No, absolutely not. So that could be an angle of it as well, because in that original flashback where he's talking with Mr. Schwartz, he did do like a World War II action picture.
Yeah. Oh my God. Which has one of the greatest lines, which was something fried sauerkraut.
Yeah, it was like, did somebody order fried sauerkraut and he's got a flamethrower?
And he's like, just lights a bunch of Nazis on fire.
Yeah.
As you do.
As you do in a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right, so then we flash forward 6 months.
Yeah, he went to Italy.
In that 6 months, he went to Italy, did a bunch of spaghetti westerns, got married.
And also did like a James Bond type rip-off action movie as well. Yeah.
Since he's married, he doesn't know what his prospects are for pilots in the next fall. Mm-hmm. He discusses that he has to let Brad Pitt go as his gopher, that he might have to sell his house. Mm-hmm. And so they decide to have one last night where they get rip-roaring drunk and have a great time together.
I'll say, just before we get to all that,
We should talk about Sharon Tate.
I was about to say we should do, because there is a scene before that when she goes to see the movie she's in.
Yeah, so let's tell her story quick.
Sure.
So Margot Robbie is not in the movie a lot. But
No.
she is used sparingly, but she's great.
Yeah, well, and it kind of works, it also kind of works as in like a, like, you know, like almost like a ray of sunshine in the weird world, where it's like, oh, there's some happy people as well, right? Because she's just happy with life, as it were, right?
So Sharon Tate was an actress who was just starting to become big.
Yeah.
In the movie, we get introduced to like the love triangle that she's in at a Playboy Mansion party where Steve McQueen basically explains what's going on.
Gives the exposition.
Yeah, which I was fine with.
Sure.
Because she's married to Roman Polanski, but her former fiance
Sebring, played by Emil Hirsch,
is hanging on.
Yeah, he's like still there in the life, as it were.
Yeah. So we get that scene with her. We get some scenes of her at home, which are just kind of sweet.
Yeah.
She meets Charles Manson briefly because he's looking for the people who used to live in the house, but they're not there. And then we get this like lovely little sequence of her going to see a movie that she's in. Well, she buys a book for Roman Polanski.
Yeah.
And then she goes to a movie that she's in.
Yeah, she like before she goes into the bookshop, she kind of sees it. It's like the title card and sees like, her name and stuff like that, or sees the movie title anyway, and she kind of like smiles and etc. And then as she's walking by, she's like, "Hey, can I go? I want to go see this movie."
Yeah, she's like, "I'm in it. Can I go in it for free?"
Yeah, basically.
And then they take a picture with her, and it's really cute and stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
And they used actual footage from the movie, which was really cool.
Yeah, I wasn't sure initial viewing when I was watching it because I was like, did they do something? Because it doesn't look like Margot Robbie.
Yeah,
and so
because it's Sharon Tate.
Because it was actually Sharon Tate, and I just didn't know because I have not seen a Sharon Tate movie previously.
Yeah,
so I just wasn't.
I'm not really familiar with her.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't recognize her, but I was like, they either did like some crazy makeup on Margot Robbie or something else is going on.
I know what she looks like, so I recognized her, but I haven't seen her movies.
Right. Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, so she goes and watches herself, and it's a really nice scene.
Nice and lovely scene.
And then, so then we're back to the night.
Yeah, it's 6 months later.
So we get parallel stories of what they're doing at the same time. So they both go to Mexican restaurants.
Yeah. And
then they both go back home.
Mm-hmm.
And Rick and... what's Brad Pitt's character's name?
Cliff Booth.
Cliff. Rick and Cliff get really drunk.
Yes.
Italian wife goes to bed.
Yeah.
What's her name? Italian wife.
Yeah. Francesca, I believe it was.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
So Rick's making another margarita.
Yeah.
It's like midnight.
Yeah, it's around midnight. He's making a margarita.
Cliff decides to take the dog for a walk and also smoke the acid cigarette.
Yeah.
A very loud car pulls up. That car has Tex and 3 hippie girls.
Yeah.
They're staking out so that they can murder Sharon Tate because they've been given orders to murder Sharon Tate.
Yeah, we're just told that murder whoever's
in that house. Yeah. Rick comes out.
Yeah.
And I think this was your favorite scene.
It's pretty great.
He's in like a bathroom with his blender full of margarita.
Yeah.
And yells at them for having a loud car.
Yeah. Basically, he's just like, get the hell off this road.
It's a private road.
Yeah, it's a private road. And the guy's like, well, I've got to turn around. He's like, just back up. I just thought it was so funny. Because he's got like a cigarette and his margarita. And he's like, Devin said he's in a bathrobe.
He's yelling at these like infamous murderers.
Yeah. So I just thought it was just a hilarious kind of thing.
Oh, it's so good, yeah.
Just out there yelling at him.
So they back up.
Yep.
They start discussing that this is Rick Dalton that they've just seen.
Yeah.
And then one of the hippies has this brilliant idea that they should murder Rick Dalton because...
They grew up with bounty law and shows like that.
Yeah, which made them violent. Yeah. So now they have to kill the thing that made them violent.
Yes.
And they're like, yeah, it's a great idea. We'll just murder the whole neighborhood. And then... as they're leaving the car, this was so great and unexpected. Yeah. It's such good humor. But one of them's like, oh, I left my knife in the car, which I think is Uma Thurman's daughter that says that. I think that...
It's either her or Quinn Smith. I wasn't 100%. Yeah.
But she goes, I think I left my knife in the car. And they're like, well, go get it. Yeah. And then she's like going down. He's like, oh, you'll need the keys.
The car's locked or whatever. Yeah, you need the keys.
So she runs down there, gets in the car, drives off.
Yeah.
So now we have Tex and 2 girls.
Yeah.
And they make it up to the house. And Cliff is back at this point, right?
Yeah, he's back. And
so Cliff and the dog are in the house.
In the house, and he's also... he was going to feed the dog. That's what it is. He was going to feed the dog, and so he's LSDing out. He's tripping.
He's tripping.
And DiCaprio's on the pool, or in the pool floaty, and he's got like headphones on, and he's just chill.
Yeah, and he's drunk.
Yeah.
And Francesca's asleep.
Yes.
Did they just open it? I can't remember if they opened it or not.
Well, they send one person to just like go around the back, see if there's a back entrance, and then they just like open the door, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, it's the 70s, or 69, no one locks their doors.
No one locks their doors.
Yeah, so they just open the door.
Yeah.
And then he's got the gun.
It's so great.
Yeah.
And Brad Pitt's like, who are you? And he's like, I'm the devil.
No, because at first he's like, I recognize you. He's like, who are you? And he's like, I'm the devil and I'm here to do the devil's work. And he's like, no, it's something stupider than that. And then the one girl's like, no, shoot him, Tex. Or he's like, it's like Rex or something. And she's like, oh, shoot him, Tex. He's like, Tex. That's what it is. And he even asks, he's like, are you guys real? Because he's tripping out.
And then we get a super violent sequence of events.
Yeah.
Which is, I was like, when I was watching, I think I had my hands covering my mouth.
Especially at the one part I could definitely see.
Yeah, I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So he gets the dog to attack Tex, and then he smashes one of the girls' faces in.
Yeah, he was holding a can and just like whips it at her from like 3 feet away.
And then, one of them stabs him in the leg, so he smashes her head into like the phone and then the mantle and then the coffee table.
Yeah, she's got no face.
It's so violent.
It's pretty visceral. This was, again, like I was saying before, this was some Tarantino visceral violence.
Not anime violence.
No, yeah.
But like...
This is
realistic violence and a lot of it. And then one of them runs outside.
Well, yeah, because she got hit in the face, and then I think the dog's chawing on her arm at one point as well, and so she's messed up. And then she runs outside.
Where Leo sees her.
Yeah. And she falls into the pool
She falls into the pool, and she's just shooting wildly at the air.
Yeah, she's got a gun and just waving it.
Because she can't see anything, I assume.
Yeah, she got like... Something happened to her to blind her as well.
Yeah. So he happens to have a flamethrower.
That was the funniest execution, because I literally thought he was just like getting up and walking and like gonna lock himself in like some kind of safe room.
Yeah.
And he just comes out like 10 seconds later with
the flamethrower. And he just lights her up.
Yeah, just flamethrowers her.
And she is in the pool on fire.
Yeah.
For a good amount of time.
Before she stops moving and/or we cut away.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It was pretty an intense scene, because even just like initially...
So much action.
Yeah, well, and they go up and then, like you said, you're like, oh no, Brad Pitt and them, like, what's gonna happen? And he's tripping out, and so he's not in like his A-game mode, right?
Yeah.
And even him just getting stabbed, you're like, oh no, Brad Pitt getting stabbed, right? So... It was intense, but it was an interesting cap to the movie almost in a way.
Oh yeah, it was. You couldn't look away.
Yeah.
And it didn't go on too long either.
No, it was like just again perfectly paced, well executed. That you were.
Yeah.
You couldn't look away. You wanted to see what happened.
Quentin Tarantino in an interview was wondering what he was going to do with Tex because he didn't know how to like end that storyline to fix it. Because he knew he wanted Sharon Tate to live, but he didn't know what to do about it.
Right.
And I guess he was saying in this interview, I don't know if it's true or not, but this is what he said, is that he, like, right before he went to bed, he wrote on a note, just fucking kill him. And then he slept on it, and when he woke up, he looked at the note again, and he was like, oh yeah, that's a good point.
That makes good sense.
Yeah.
Makes good sense.
Yeah.
And then we get kind of some aftermath, but just Booth and Dalton...
they're gonna stay friends.
Like they're talking, and he's like, oh, don't come with me to the hospital. Come visit me tomorrow. Or whatever kind of thing.
Go be with your wife.
Go be with your wife. And he's like, nah, she took a sleeping pill and she's got your dog. She ain't waking up. So, and then, when he's leaving, and then he's like, oh, you're a good friend, and I was just like, nice.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah,
very nice. And it gives you kind of some hope that if
he can't employ him, they'll stay.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but you hope that he will be able to employ him further and stuff.
And then he runs into the neighbor.
Yeah, Jay Sebring's like, what the heck's going on?
What's going on? He explains it, and then Sharon comes on over the intercom and invites him up, and then they go in for drinks, and he kind of That's the end of it.
Yeah.
And it seems a bit like maybe he'll be able to work with Roman Polanski, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the fairy tale of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah. And it was really good.
Yeah, it was extremely amazing. And the funniest thing, though, was, like I was saying to you afterwards, is throughout the entire movie, we got all these ads and everything like that. And I was like, there was never a cigarette ad. And then they do a post-credit cigarette ad.
Where's the apple with the worm coming out of it, right? Which came at the end.
Yeah, red apple cigarettes.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was really hilarious.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
With Leo doing the commercial. Made for a good kind of cap end.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really did like you were saying after we watched it, it was just like, it was unexpected that it was like this friendship movie wrapped around these crazy events, and I couldn't look away, and I enjoyed it so immensely.
Oh, it was so great.
Yeah.
It was, I think afterwards I was saying it reminded me of two other movies. The first being Hail Caesar, because it kind of has that like love letter to Hollywood feel, and the other one being Bad Times at the El Royale,
right,
which has a very Tarantino feel, but it also had like, you know,
unexpected twists. Or...
What's his name? I keep calling him Heath Ledger, and that's not the actor.
Chris Hemsworth?
Chris Hemsworth. He's very Heath Ledger in that movie.
Oh, sure, yeah. He's a weird cult leader guy.
Yeah, he's a weird cult leader. Yeah, with murders. Yeah.
It just happens to murder people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
El Royale is such a great movie, too.
It's pretty great. We've
lots of it.
We recommended it several times on our show.
Yeah, well, I'm recommending it again.
Absolutely.
If you don't watch El Royale, you're not a real Tome of Uselessness fan. Just kidding, we don't have fans.
But I just wanted to briefly talk a little bit about some Quentin Tarantino stuff.
I'm into it.
Yeah, so this was famously his 9th movie, and it's the 9th movie he's written and directed, because he's written some other stuff, he's worked some other things, but this was like both him doing it.
And he only wants to do 10 movies.
Well, I think you were saying that he potentially might want to start working in television.
Yeah, but he says he only wants to write and direct 10 movies. Yeah. He thinks that's a good...
Yeah, I don't know. Like I was saying as well, I think a guy like that, as creative as he is, like some idea will stick with it, get in his head, and he'll make another movie.
I think he'll make a couple. I could see him doing a couple miniseries.
Yeah,
like 6-episode series.
Yeah, like something on HBO or whoever, right?
Or whoever will let him.
Get him. Interestingly, for this project is like because he broke away from other distribution companies and stuff like that, namely the Weinsteins and stuff like that.
Oh, good for him.
Is that he like just Hollywood auctioned it off.
Oh, and wow.
The people who got the distribution. Oh man, I'm gonna say the wrong company. Anyway, they won the auction essentially, and I was like, wow, good for him. Like he still can draw, and he got the budget to do this movie. Approximately $95 million was the budget on this movie, and it's only opened so far domestically. It hasn't actually opened worldwide.
Oh, wow.
So it's almost made back its budget. So far it's made $84.4 million. So it's doing well, I guess. And it was high opening and stuff like that. So it was great, that movie. But getting back to some of his previous stuff.
What's your favorite Tarantino movie?
Well, and I was going to say, out of all the movies he's done, I have not seen Jackie Brown.
Okay, I haven't seen...
Yeah, I've got a list here, so...
I haven't seen Reservoir Dogs. I haven't seen... No.
Oh, wow.
I haven't seen Jackie Brown. I haven't seen Django, and I haven't seen The Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
But I've seen the rest of them.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me...
Your favorite is The Hateful Eight.
Actually, I was going to say my favorite was The Hateful Eight. Death Proof's kind of I think the weakest for me.
Yeah, agreed.
Mainly just because I think it just needed a little bit of editing.
A lot of editing.
Sure. But then I think for me the strongest one would be The Hateful Eight. It was, again, such a well-told story and masterfully crafted, and the characters and Jennifer Jason Leigh and Kurt Russell and Sam Jackson and everybody was so good in it. And sort of a cheat in that it was like one of his more recents. Mm-hmm. So of course he's going to get better at writing things.
Yeah.
And we can make movies better now, right? And he has the budget versus when he made Reservoir Dogs,
Totally.
So, but I think The Hateful Eight really stands out.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a great movie.
Yes.
And it was so well done, and it's probably one of his best made movies.
Yeah, 100%.
He's honed his craft so well.
Yeah.
But my favorite Tarantino movie...
Kill Bill 1?
Kill Bill 1 and 2.
Yeah.
It will always be Kill Bills.
Yeah.
Like, till the end of time. when I watched Kill Bill in the theater, I was so blown away. I'd never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
It was the coolest shit ever. And
It was pretty sweet.
And I love Kill Bill too. I know a lot of people don't like it as much,
Sure.
but I think it's a great, strong, wonderful
Have you ever watched them back to back?
Yeah.
Like as like a one feature kind of thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Have you?
No.
Why not?
Just never really sat down and done it.
So good though.
They are really good. Because I think Kill Bill 1 is definitely one of the stronger ones as well.
Oh, yeah, man. There's nothing I don't like about it. Honestly, I just like everything about those movies.
And I think one of my favorite things about Inglourious Basterds and Django Unchained, of course, is Christoph Waltz's performance.
Oh yeah, Christoph Waltz is so good in Inglourious Basterds.
Yeah, he's pretty amazing in that.
Yeah.
And even Brad Pitt, of course, in it as well.
Oh yeah, everybody's like.
Yeah.
Tarantino doesn't have to suffer bad actors.
Absolutely, but he also seems to get people to raise their level. Like even a guy like Timothy Olyphant, not saying he's a terrible actor, but he was like, he was playing this 60s cowboy actor guy, and it was like totally believable, and everybody that he always brings in seems to step up their game in some way.
I think he also like writes the character and knows who he wants to play it.
Yeah.
And then he knows he can get them.
Sure.
Because he's Quentin Tarantino.
He's Quentin Tarantino.
Like, not to keep going back to Kill Bill, but I will. I couldn't swap out any actor.
Right.
With like, especially Uma Thurman.
Sure.
And Lucy Liu.
Yeah.
And, what's her name? The L.
L, yeah.
Yeah. Like, those...
I knew it a second ago. Never mind, continue.
Hannah? Daryl
Yeah,
Hannah?
Daryl Hannah. That's I knew it started with a D, and I was like, I lost it.
She's so good in that. Like, Uma Thurman is the best, but Daryl Hannah is so good at it.
Yeah.
And even, like, the guy that plays Bill, David Cassidy. Carradine, not Cassidy.
Yes.
David Carradine is great in it. And you've sparingly... the guy that plays Bud.
Michael Madsen.
Yes. Yeah.
Who has a brief cameo in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
According to what I was reading, he was supposed to have a larger role, but it had to get cut down.
I really like him as Bud Eden.
Apparently Tim Roth was also supposed to be in the movie as Jay Sebring's butler.
Oh.
An English butler. But that all had to get cut, apparently.
Aww.
Yeah. But I think that's for the best. The movie was quite long as it was.
That's fair. Yeah. Oh, man. But yeah,
sorry,
everybody in Kill Bill is so well cast. And so, even, like, the fucking creepy doctor or nurse who's like, my name is Buck and I came here to fuck.
Yeah.
He's even, like, so great because he's so gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I love that movie so much.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
It's my favorite movie.
Well, and just to go through the list, like I said, from 1992, it was Reservoir Dogs, then Pulp Fiction in 94, Jackie Brown in 97, 2003 and 4 was Kill Bill 1 and 2, Death Proof in 2007, 2009 was Inglourious Basterds, 2012 Django Unchained, 2015 Hateful Eight, and then 2019 Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Pretty good resume. He also did famously write, I still think it's a good movie, is From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, and he also wrote Romance in the Stone?
True Romance?
True Romance?
I thought that was written by Shane Black. I thought that was a Shane Black movie.
Romance something.
Oh, okay. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Hang on, you talk. I'm gonna Google. Romancing the Stone is really old, isn't it?
That's Michael Douglas. Oh, you're in my basement.
Yeah, it doesn't work. So I'm gonna say he did.
Alright, fair enough. But yeah, like, so as a writer-director, those movies are all great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty good resume, and like I said, it's good for him that he can command the budget still to get, because these days, like, let's be real, studios want the Marvel, they want the $1 billion paydays.
Yeah.
But he's still able to get these movies made just because he can command these actors.
Oh,
and,
for sure.
You know, and his name. He's like, I'll still draw an audience. It might not make you Marvel money, but it's going to make you some money. Maybe not initially, again. Hasn't opened worldwide yet. Still pretty slow. But there's going to be DVD sales and etc. and everything's going to continue.
I mean, they're big movies, but they're cult favorites, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it's at least shows that these movies can still be made, and not everything has to be owned by Disney.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, anything else about his catalog? Like, Pulp Fiction's always pretty great. I've seen it many times.
I think I've only seen it once, actually.
Yeah, I've seen it a ton of times.
Pogo does an excellent remake of that was a tasty burger.
Yeah.
Into a song, which is great on YouTube if you want to watch that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I actually, out of all of I've only seen Django a couple times, and I've only seen The Hateful Eight a couple times. I think those two are on Netflix, so check them out.
Oh, I should look at them. Yeah.
Because I think actually I should have done it, but Jackie Brown's on Netflix as well, so.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I
guess I'm gonna watch.
I should have watched it. Yeah.
Next episode, I'll talk about all the Tarantino movies I watched.
Yeah, so like.
Wait, is Kill Bill on there?
I didn't look. I want to say maybe yes.
I want to watch it again.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I don't want to watch this ones I haven't seen. I just want to watch Kill Bill.
Sure. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I don't know anything further about his catalog that you want to highlight or say, or.
Don't you love the scene where she's putting, I can't remember her name, but Orenishi's assistant
in the trunk.
Yeah. And we get that shot from like inside the trunk up.
And she's covered in blood.
and a motorcycle helmet, right?
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's very good. Yeah, that was a good like capper scene because then it was interspersed with her telling Bill what's happened.
Yeah, totally,
like,
right?
I want you to tell him this.
I mean, so many good scenes.
Absolutely.
You know what else is a great scene in that movie?
What?
When Bud's working on the strip joint.
Yeah.
And he's just like giving a shit from his boss. And you're like, oh man, this guy used to murder people.
Yeah, he's just like, there ain't no one to bounce.
So good.
Yeah, that's such a weird thing as well because, he's like previously an assassin essentially.
Yeah, and then he's like mopping up puke and oh my god, that movie's so dirty. There's so many dirty parts to it. And when she's like in the coffin.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. That was intense.
I want to go watch Kill Bill again.
What do you feel though about the signature Tarantino violence?
I like it.
Yeah, okay.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me either.
You know what? I know there's a lot of it.
Sure.
But to me, it's not excessive because it's not focusing on one violent thing in like super close detail.
I was also going to say it's also like depending on the movie genre. Like Kill Bill's an action movie.
Yeah, makes sense.
Of course, there's going to be some bad ones. And Big Glorious Bastards are fighting Nazis. What do you think? So it's like if it was, and that's what made it so interesting in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is there was 2 scenes of violence essentially, right? 3 if you kind of count like some sort of fighting scene.
Yeah.
It wasn't like visceral, where it was just kind of like it went off, but it was like. It works so well. Like it didn't. I don't know why. Like it wasn't like weird. So
here's the thing with like Tarantino violence.
Because I grew up with anime violence too, so it's like
yeah.
You're like
No, but here the thing about Tarantino violence is, it's not. It's never added in because he wants violence in the movie.
Right.
It's part of the story. It's usually. Even though there's a lot of it, usually the scenes are brief. And it's never cruel. It's like part of, like even...
When I was saying it, it's like he shoots it in such a way or it's depicted, like it's movie violence.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
But like even like, the part in Kill Bill, which I'm going to just keep going back to forever now.
Sure.
Where Uma Thurman is slamming that nurse's head in the door.
Yeah.
That... in other circumstances would be like a really cruel and unnecessary scene, but she's like, first of all, she's been in atrophy. Second of all, he did terrible things to her when she was unconscious.
Yeah.
And she's trying to get information out of him, and it works in the movie. It's not just like, I want to have a scene where some guys heads get slammed in the door, so I'm gonna put it in there, or like. I want to show that she's like a badass bitch, so I'm going to just have her slam a guy's head in the door.
Yeah, just like randomly for no reason.
Like, there's always like reasons behind the violence.
Right.
So it doesn't bother me. Like, movies like Hostel, it bothers me because it's usually like cruel and unnecessary.
Yeah.
And even though it's the whole point of the movie, it doesn't really add to the story at all.
Yeah.
Like that and like Saw. Like, I know that that's the point of the movie, but it's not really like you could swap out any violent scene with any other violent scene and it wouldn't change the tone of the movie at all.
Sure.
Or the story at all. So I think that's where I draw my line in the sand is like violence when it's like it makes sense to the story, like fighting Nazis, or fighting Manson.
Yeah. Well, and one thing that I thought was also interesting in this is in Canada, where we live,
Yes.
this movie was only rated 14A.
Yes.
It's rated R everywhere else.
This should have been an R movie.
But I was thinking the only thing I could think of is because...
There's no tits.
No, it's the depiction of drug use and smoking. Because everyone is smoking in this movie and everyone's doing drugs the entire movie. Mm-hmm. Because the violence is very toned down. Very little swearing.
You said the violence was toned down?
Well, there just wasn't much of it.
Yeah, but it was still pretty...
Yeah, no, but it was visceral, but it was not like it was like 20 minutes of like action battle scene of blood and gore, right?
I guess so.
I'm just saying...
But you did watch a girl's face get smashed into a telephone.
Yes.
And another girl get lit on fire with his flamethrower.
Yes. But I just thought that was just interesting because normally his movies are always... like R, and when I was buying tickets, I was like 14A. I was kind of like, ugh.
There's just not enough blood. I think there's like a certain amount of blood you're allowed to have in Canada or something.
Yeah, or I just think like again it was we're just like
they also don't like sex scenes where women get off.
Yes, no, I know the MPAA hates that.
They do.
Yeah, no, I know they do.
Have you ever watched that documentary called? Yeah.
I watched a documentary about the MPAA. It's messed up down there.
It's super messed up. Yeah.
But I just thought that was an interesting kind of like breakaway, and it made me not wary, but I was kind of like I was like, oh, what's the movie gonna be like? For a 14A Tarantino movie. And again, not
14A, and it's got Manson in it.
And it's got Manson in it. Yeah, exactly, right? So I was like, oh.
Oh, they make him a good guy. Oh no, don't do it.
But anyway, I just thought that was an interesting thing as well about the movie. But I don't know. I mean, there's not much more I could really say about.
It was good.
The movie, his career has been, he's a weirdo, and he's had some weird moments with like people and press and whatever kind of thing. And people like, because again, people are like, and he's just like, dude, it's movie violence, which I kind of agree with him. But he does turn out some really good projects and really good movies that I enjoy watching.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think like anybody in the States. I don't want to get political on our...
Sure.
I'm going to stop myself right there.
No, I just mean, like, his work's still top notch.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. It's not too bad. The end. I don't know. I could see I could see there being controversy if somebody else had handled this project, not Tarantino, and had, like... let Sharon Tate live. If it wasn't done in the right way, I could see that being kind of disrespectful, but I think he did it in a way that like...
Well, I would say, did you, not to totally interrupt or derail, but he did approach Sharon Tate's family.
Oh yeah, I heard that,
and kind of, not worked with them, but it was like, here's what I was going to do, and they were like, they were cool with it.
Yeah.
Maybe not cool with it, but would like, kind of gave their blessing to the project in a sense.
Yeah, but like I could see that going wrong if you don't do it in the right way, and he just did it in the right way where it was like, I don't know, just a different version of history where things don't suck quite as much.
Yeah, just alternate history of the word.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Would you recommend this movie?
Absolutely. Like I said, I don't think I can say enough about
Yeah, I agree. It's great. Super good.
Yeah, get out there in theaters, check it out.
Excellent. Should we wrap up then?
I think absolutely, yes.
We would love it if you rate and review this podcast because it helps other people see it. And by see it, I mean hear it.
Sure. Yeah.
You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We're Tome of Uselessness. You can also email us at
tomeofuselessness@gmail.com.
We would love to hear from you if you have any suggestions on what you'd like us to review. If you have
comments,
questions, you think we're wrong about everything, we'd love to hear it. Send us your fan fiction about Good Omens.
Devin request, I'll forward those on.
Yeah. I would like a Good Omens Once Upon a Time in Hollywood crossover fan fiction. What else? Anything else?
I think thanks for listening.
Yes. Bye.